Hello students, welcome back to your science class. So students, today we will going to see the sample question paper of a term 1 that was launched by CBSE, and let us see that what kind of a criteria and what kind of a questions that can be asked. See here, the timing that will be given to class 10th, it is 90 minutes. There are instructions are also given. Let us see the instructions. The question paper, it will consisting of a 3 section. If you see the section A has 24 questions, and we have to attempt any 20 questions. Section B will be there, that also consisting of a 24 question, and similarly the same criteria, that attempt any 20 questions. And section C has 12 questions, and we can attempt 10 questions. Obviously all the questions, it carries the equal marks and there is no negative marking. So let us start with the question answers, and let us see start with the section A. In case of a section A, yes, it consisting of a 24 questions, and any 20 questions that must be attempt. And if you have attempt more than that, so the first attempted 20 question would be evaluated. So you must be very careful regarding choosing the questions out of 24. If you are selecting the 20 questions, remember that select only 20 questions if you are very sure about the answers. Otherwise, if you attempt more than that, the first 20 attempted question will be considered. No, okay. So let us start with the questions. See, the question is, Rima took 5 ml of a lead nitrate solution in a beaker and added approximately 4 ml of a potassium iodide solution to it. What would she observe? See, Rima has taken lead nitrate solution in a beaker, and she has added the potassium iodide. So we know that when lead nitrate, when you look at the formula of the lead nitrate, this is PbNO3 whole twice. And this PbNO3 whole twice reacts with that of potassium iodide, which is Ki. Now, when both of them react together, then there is a formation of a yellow precipitate, and that is of a PbI2 plus potassium nitrate, that is KNOO3, will be released. Okay, so PbI2 is what? That is the yellow precipitate is formed. So in the options, let us see what are the options are given here. Solution turns red. No, that is not a correct answer. Then yellow precipitate was formed, white precipitate was formed, and the reaction mixture became hot. So it is the yellow precipitate formed, and this yellow precipitate is of a potassium iodide. So B is the correct answer, student. That is yellow precipitate. Yellow precipitate was formed. Let us see the second question. Second question is, you can see here in the picture itself. Identify the gas which is released in the following experiments. Now see here. In this experiment, in the test tube, you can see it is written dilute sulfuric acid and zinc granules are there. Zinc granules, suppose you have taken the dilute sulfuric acid, when you added the zinc granules, students, what will happen? Now see here, it is fitted with a cork and a delivery tube is there. This delivery tube, it is mixed or kept into a soap solution, and you can see a bubble is coming out, and you know that in a solution, if a bubble is coming out, what is that? That is an indication that a gas is revolving around it. And a very good thing that is given here is the burning gas. When we bring a burning candle near to that of the bubbles which is coming out through that of the soap solution, this gas will burn with a pop sound. So we have to identify the gas. Obviously, the indication that burning of the gas will the gas will burn or produces a pop sound is a good indication, which help us in proving that the answer will be hydrogen. And you can understand this also. Here in the test tube we have taken, suppose in this one, it is already given that the gas which is coming out, it will produce a pop sound. But what will happen if suppose it is not given? So you must know that when the zinc it react with the dilute sulfuric acid, that is H2SO4, obviously there is a formation of a ZnSO4 and hydrogen gas is released along with it. Remember that. This reaction is supposed to be an exothermic reaction, student. When you touch the beaker, the base of the beaker, it will become hot. Okay, so this is proves that the reaction is an exothermic reaction. So suppose the question is asked that what kind of a reaction it is, you will say that it is an exothermic reaction in which heat is evolved. As well as this is also indicating a characteristic of a chemical reaction in which there is an evolution of a gas occur. So name the gas: nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen and carbon dioxide. Answer will be hydrogen. Obviously it will burn with the pop sound, and this pop sound which indicates that the gas is what? It is a hydrogen gas. Now see the next question, student. As you can see here in the picture, this is the metal, and when the metal react with the dilute HCl, this will releases the metal salt and gas. Now if you look, there are the two combinations are given, students. In the first one, the kind of a metal is there, and in the second one is the gas evolved, whether the gas will be evolved or not. Obviously when the metal react with the dilute hydrochloric acid, the kind of a gas which is released, a metal salt will be formed, student, and that is metal chloride will be formed. And the gas which is released along with it, it will be the hydrogen gas. Now let us see that which combination will be the correct combination. The first one is the copper, and the gas evolved. Yes, students. When the copper react with the with the metal copper, see, copper is what? It is a less reactant than that of the hydrogen. So now see here, if we see the second option, students, so second option is iron. So if we have taken iron and made it to react with the dilute hydrochloric acid, so obviously iron being more reactive than that of the hydrogen, so it will displaces hydrogen from it, and it will form the ferric chloride, and yes, the gas will also evolve with it. So we can say that the second one is correct, and the third one, the combination, is the wrong one, because copper is what? That will not going to displace the hydrogen. Then see the third one. Magnesium being more reactive can easily displace the hydrogen from HCl, and it will produce that of the gas, hydrogen gas. But here it is said that the gas is not evolved. So obviously this will be the wrong combination, because the gas will be evolved. So the second one is the correct, and first and third is still it is incorrect, and the fourth one is zinc. So when the zinc react with the dilute hydrochloric acid, then there is a formation of a zinc chloride, which is a metal salt, and a gas is also evolved along with it, and which is what? Which is a hydrogen gas. So zinc reacting with the metal forms zinc chloride, and a gas is evolved, that is the hydrogen gas along with it. So which were the combination is the correct, student? It is the second and that of the fourth is the correct one, while first and second is the wrong. First and third wrong. First and fourth is also wrong, and second and third is wrong. It will be second and fourth combination which is supposed to be the correct one. Now let us see the next question. So the question is, that is, which of the following correctly represent a balanced chemical equation? Now see here. First one is Fe plus 4H2O, Fe3O4 plus 4H2. Now see that whether it is balanced or not. Now see, at the left side iron is 1, but at the right side iron is 3. First side the hydrogen is 8, 4 into 2, 8, and here hydrogen is balanced. Oxygen is 4 and oxygen is 4. So everything is balanced, but iron is still not balanced. So the first one, that is not a balanced chemical equation. No, this is the wrong one. Second one, 3Fe plus 4H2O, this will give Fe3O4 plus 4H2. So Fe is balanced, both of the side it is 3. Hydrogen 4 into 2, 8, and here also right side 4 into 2, 8. So hydrogen is also balanced. Oxygen is 4 here. Here oxygen is also 4. So oxygen is also balanced. So yes, it will also represent the correct. Yes, so second one is the correct one. Third one, 3Fe plus H2O. This will give Fe3O4 plus H2. Obviously, iodine is balanced, but hydrogen is 2 here. Here also hydrogen is 2. But oxygen is 4, and in the left side, the oxygen is 1. So this is also not a balance. This is an unbalanced chemical equation. Fourth one, 3Fe plus 4H2O. This will give Fe3O4 plus H2. You can see here, students, that Fe is balanced at both the sides. It is 3. Hydrogen is not balanced because at left side it is 4 into 2, that is 8. And then at the right side it is only 2. And oxygen is 4 at both the sides, so oxygen is also balanced. So since hydrogen is not balanced, the fourth one is also an incorrect. So out of the 4, the second one is supposed to be the correct. It is a balanced chemical equation. It means at both of the side, the equation is what? It is properly balanced one. Now the next one. The graph which is given below depicts a neutralization reaction. A kind of a neutralization reaction in which acid plus alkali, this will give salt and water. Yes, student, this is the neutralization reaction in which when the acid react with the alkali, acid react with the base, then there is a formation of a salt and water is released along with it. The pH of the solution changes as we add excess of acid to the alkali. As you can see here, the pH keeps on decreasing because we are continuously adding acid to the alkali. Question is, which letter denote the area of the graph where both acid and salt are present? Obviously, see here in the graph, it is at A is at 14. So there, it will be what? It is a basic salt solution. You know, student, that the salt solution is also divided into 4 different types. First one is the neutral one, in which what? A strong acid and a strong base combine together. So it will neutralize the effect. The second one, in which we have taken a weak acid and a strong base. So the kind of a salt is what? It is a basic salt because the base is what? It is a strong one. Third one, we have taken a strong acid but a weak base. So kind of a salt solution is a acidic salt solution. And fourth one, in which a weak acid and a weak base has been taken, which combines together, and it may form a acidic salt solution or a basic salt solution. Now see here, when it area A, when the pH is 14, at that the acid is what? It is what? It is alkali. So the salt which is formed here, it is what? It is a strong alkali solution, salt solution, or a basic salt solution, because the pH is at 14. Similarly, if we see at B, there also the pH is 13. So we can say it is still a basic solution. At C is also more than 7. So that will be also a basic salt solution. But what is the question? Question is that we must denote that letter which consisting of both acid and a salt. So yes, this is the D portion only, which is less than that of the 7. So the kind of a salt which is formed here, it consisting of an acid properly, as well as that, yes, mixture is there, so it is the acidic salt solution. So acidic salt solution will be formed at D. So the correct answer will be the D only. Okay, it is the D which is supposed to be the correct one, where acid and salt both are present. Now let us see. In this reaction, in the reaction of the iodine with the copper sulfate solution, we have taken copper sulfate and iodine, and copper is displaced plus FeSO4 is there. This is a kind of a displacement reaction, student, in which the more reactive displaces the less reactive, and this reaction also involves the oxidation and redox reaction. So which option in the given table correctly represent the substance oxidized and the reducing agent? Now see here, We know that the process of oxidation is what? Where if gaining of oxygen is there, so that will be an oxidation, and in this case you will find that FeSO4 is there. So SO4 sulfate, oxygen is there. So copper is losing oxygen while iron is gaining. So it is the iron which is showing the process of an oxidation, right? So iron is showing the oxidation, students. So the substance which oxidizes, it is iron. What is the reducing agent? So the substance which actually get oxidized or which get reduced so that the oxidation process can take place, that is called as reducing agent. And here the reducing agent is the iron itself. So the oxidation as well as the substance which get oxidized as well as the reducing agent, both of them will be the iron itself. If the question will be that which substance get oxidized and which is the oxidizing agent, at that time you will write that copper sulfate is the oxidizing agent and the substance which get oxidized is the iron. So the answer will be A, where you can find out that iron is oxidized and iron is the reducing agent. Okay, so this is the answer of this question. Now let us move on and see the question number 7. The chemical reaction between copper and oxygen can be categorized as see, when the copper and oxygen they combine together. Let us see what kind of a reaction will take place when we make the copper and oxygen to combine together. So Cu plus O2, both of them they combine together to form the copper oxide, that is CuO. As you can see here in this reaction, that is, now you can see here that since in this reaction the copper react with O2 to form CuO. So two reactants they combine together to form a single product. So this is an example of a combination reaction. So the copper and the oxygen, both of them they react together to form the combination reaction. So this is not a displacement reaction, not a decomposition reaction, but yes, it is a combination reaction. No double displacement reaction will take place. So this is an example of a combination reaction, okay, in which two reactant or two or more reactant to combine together to form a single product, that is a combination reaction. Okay, so this is a combination reaction. Now let us move on and see the next question. Next question is, which of the given option correctly represent the parent acid and the base of a calcium carbonate? Parent acid, hydrochloric acid, and parent base is sodium hydroxide. Obviously this is not a base of a calcium carbonate. Parent acid and a base, it means here it is talking about that which acid and a base they combine together to form the calcium carbonate. HCl and NaOH, when they react together, then there is a formation of a sodium chloride. So obviously this is not a correct option in which the acid and the bases they combine together to form the calcium carbonate. So this is the wrong answer. Next one is S2CO3, which is a carbonic acid. When this carbonic acid, when react with the calcium hydroxide, then yes, there is a formation of a calcium carbonate and water will be released. So second is the correct option, student. It is the parent acid and a base of a calcium carbonate. Second one. Third one is S3PO3. This is the phosphoric acid and calcium sulfate. When both of them they react together, then there is a formation of a calcium phosphate and sulfuric acid will be released. So obviously this is not a correct answer. And sulfuric acid when react with the calcium sulfate, no, it will not going to give the calcium carbonate. So this is also a wrong answer. So only the B is the correct option, where the carbonic acid will react with the calcium hydroxide to form the calcium carbonate. Okay, so this is also a correct option. Now let us see How will you protect yourself from heat generated while diluting a concentrated acid? Yes, diluting a concentrated acid is what? That will involve a release of a huge amount of a heat. It is an exothermic reaction. And sometimes what happen? Due to this exothermic reaction, it will going to affect the acid will splash. So, it's quite important that we must be very careful while diluting the concentrated acid. So, what is the correct way by which we can convert a concentrated acid into a dilute one? Options are given here, students. By adding acid to water with a constant stirring. Yes, we must not add the water into the acid, because water is water, that will, when mixes with the acid, releases a lot of a heat. So we must add acid to that of the water with a constant stirring. That is really important, students. When we start adding slowly that of the acid into the water with the constant stirring, that will help in releasing a less amount of a heat, and that will not going to affect us at all. So constant stirring by adding the acid to water is the correct way by which we can convert and concentrated acid into a dilute one. Now see the B one also. By adding water to acid with a constant? No, absolutely not. B must not add water to acid. By adding water to acid followed by base? No, that will going to make a neutralization reaction. By adding base to acid with constant stirring? No, this will not going to get the dilute one, but there will be the formation of the salt occur. So the correct answer, first one, by adding acid to water with a constant stirring. Why is it important to balance the skeletal chemical equation? Skeletal chemical equation is what? A chemical equation which is unbalanced, which is not balanced. To verify law of conservation of energy, to verify law of constant proportion, to verify the law of conservation of mass, and to verify the law of conservation of momentum. Answer is the law of conservation of mass. We know that the law of conservation of mass says that mass of the reactant is equals to mass of the product, and this will be correct only when both the reactant and the product will be equal. Okay, if suppose at one the reactant is not equals to that of the product, the law of conservation of mass will also not be verified. So it is quite important that in order to verify the conservation of a mass, it is important that the chemical equation must be balanced properly. So answer will be C, that is to verify the law of conservation of mass, student. Okay. Okay, so to verify the law of conservation of mass. Now see here, this is a diagram is given. Carefully study the diagram of a human respiratory system with label A, B, C and D. Select the option which gives the correct identification and main function or the characteristic. Now let us see here. A, B, C, D, our labeling is already given here. And see that which is the correct identification. The first one, trachea. It is supported by a bony ridges for conducting inspired air. The second one is the ribs. When we breathe out, ribs are lifted. Then alveoli is given as the third one. Thin wall, sac-like a structure for exchange of gases. And diaphragm is the fourth one. It is pulled up when we breathe in. So which is the correct identification and the main function for the characteristic that we have to find it here? Obviously the first one is the trachea, the bronchus, and it is supported by the bony ridges Basically, it is the lungs which is supported by the bony ridges. So the first one is not the correct function. Second one is the ribs. Actually, it is the not the ribs. It is the uh, okay. When we breathe in, the ribs are lifted in. Okay, it is lifted. Third one, alveoli is the correct option, student. And diaphragm pulled up. No, when we breathe in, the diaphragm used to, it will pulled out so that a more amount of the oxygen can enter into it. So the identification is the correct, but the function is not correct. So the answer will be the third one, student. It is the alveoli. Okay.